insurance terms, risk is the term used to describe the possibility of loss or other adverse outcomes that potentially interferes with an organization's ability to fulfill its duties and mandates. Risk management ensures that an organization effectively identifies and understands the risks to which it is being exposed to. Risk management also guarantees that the organization creates and implements an effective plan to prevent losses or reduce the impact if a loss occurs. The process of risk management comprises of 3 major steps. 1. Risk analysis. 2. Risk planning. 3. Risk control and risk financing. Risk analysis is the process of identifying, analyzing, and communicating major risks. Risk analysis enables organizations to identify and assess the various risks involved and also gauge the severity of impact even before anything happens in real life. After potential risks are identified and analyzed, it is important to plan and adopt a suitable strategy for controlling the risk. In risk planning stage, all stakeholders are educated about the potential risks that may arise in future. A detailed risk mitigation plan is made and the same is communicated to all the required people involved. Then comes the risk control stage. There are about 6 major risk control techniques followed in businesses across the world. They are avoidance, loss prevention, loss reduction, separation, duplication, and diversification. Let us take a look at each of these risk control techniques briefly. Avoidance. In this technique, the probability of those risks which can lead to loss are avoided by not taking up a specific activity. In specific businesses, a particular asset is abandoned to ensure that risk is avoided. For example, consider television manufacturers. Up to 2010, the normal CRT televisions were available in the market. In the last 5 to 6 years, these old models are not available in the market and the production of these models have been avoided or stopped completely. This is a risk control measure taken by manufacturers to prevent loss occurring due to production of old models. Another example could be Microsoft acquiring Nokia. Microsoft was well aware of all the issues related to the loss-making Nokia production unit based out of Chennai. This production unit had issues related to labor, tax evasion, legal disputes, and a lot more. So Nokia had no other option but completed the sale of its handset business to software giant Microsoft, keeping the Chennai manufacturing plant, one of its largest facilities, out of the deal. Loss prevention. This is the most familiar technique undertaken to prevent loss involved in various investments. For example, in a supermarket, to prevent shoplifting and theft, CCTV cameras are installed. Being aware of CCTV in operation, people usually don't loot products so that they can avoid getting caught. Loss reduction. This technique helps in reducing the cost of loss incurred. This could be applied to a common loss or for specific losses. For example, wearing of helmets during two-wheeler rides. When a person is met with road accident, minor head injuries are prevented by wearing helmet. Another example could be to wear seat belts to reduce the chance of bodily injury in a vehicle collision. Separation. By applying this technique, a complete loss in a particular environment is prevented. The loss-causing equipment or the unit is separated and moved to different environments without being stationed or concentrated at one point. An example could be that of Infosys airlifting its employees during Hurricane Rita in 2005. Infosys is an IT major which has its operations across the globe. When Hurricane Rita was about to hit Texas, Infosys airlifted its employees from Houston to other safer counties as part of their disaster recovery plan. Their operations were shut down in Texas and was resumed by their employees from other safe locations. This way, the business continuity was ensured, hence minimizing losses. Duplication. Duplication is a technique wherein spare resources are made available in case of damage or malfunction of original resources. For example, in a manufacturing unit, the old machines are replaced by new automated machineries. The old machines are still maintained separately to provide backup just in case the new ones are not reliable for a specific duration due to repair. Such risk control technique is known as duplication technique. Diversification. In this risk control technique, a variety of products or services are offered by the same business unit so that specific loss in any one product or service will not affect the growth of the company. For example, a recent ban on Maggi did not affect Nestlé Group of companies. This is because Nestlé Group does not depend on Maggi alone for its revenue. It has diversified the investment in multiple products so that even when one product faces loss, the others will help ensure cash flow. So these were the effective risk control techniques used commonly across the globe. Let us now briefly discuss about risk financing. Risk financing can be termed as a provision of financial or monetary protection when the company or a person incurs a loss. In business economics, risk financing is the determination of how an organization will pay for loss events in the most efficient and cost-effective way possible. Risk financing involves the identification of risks, determining how to finance the risk, and monitoring the effectiveness of the financing technique that is chosen. Risk financing allows a company to manage the losses without negatively impacting the day-to-day operations of the business. There are several different ways that risk financing is managed, including the establishment of reserves set aside for specific type of losses, sharing the risk with a third party, or even obtaining insurance that effectively transfers the risk to an insurance provider. A company may also choose to manage risk financing in-house by establishing reserves of funds that can be used to settle the debts associated with a failed project. This approach effectively allows the business to provide itself with a form of self-insurance. The funds are usually placed into some sort of interest-bearing account and earmarked as backup funding for use in emergency situations only.